Hi, I'm Megan Peak, and I'm going to be reading a poem from Girldom, my book, which won the 2018 Perugia Press Prize. And if you haven't read Girldom, it's broken up into 3 different sections, and I'm going to be reading a poem from the very first section of the book, which I would say kind of navigates the beginning aspects of girlhood and growing up and adolescence and kind of the mythological aspects of childhood. So this poem is called The Killing Jar. I'll read it and then I will talk a little bit about its genesis and how it fits into the book. The Killing Jar. I look for dead ones first. Flattened blister beetles black along the road. Blue dasher floating in the pool, one wing missing. Dead is easy. Dead means no ethered exoskeleton, no dark moon abdomen curled, no cricket bucking against glass. Rarely do I find anything intact or identifiable. Sheer wing, burst thorax. I must swing a sweep net, carry a killing jar, wade through tall grass and thicket. I'm told to name something lifeless, to practice careful collecting. Nearby, a butterfly hinges on chrysanthemum. I think of it as a she. My net's full of her pale yellow symmetry. Pin poised, I press through chitin, midgut, head. She requires tenderness, body brittling to dust as I harpoon her under the dark cursive of her epithet. So I grew up in Texas, where I still live today, and there were 2 main projects in intermediate middle school that we had to participate in. And one was a wildflower project where we went out and collected native flowers of Texas and would press them and identify them. And the other one was an insect project, where we basically had to collect between 15 and 20 different insects and kill them and identify them for science class. And as a kid, I found this to be abnormally violent, and it's something that I didn't want to do. And so the poem is, the origin is from a true experience in my own childhood of having to go out in the Texas heat and find bugs. And I did look for the dead ones first because I found that to be easy and less violent. And so the poem, moves through the various phases of the project of looking for the dead ones and identifying, that there weren't many that actually were intact. And then, the phase of having to actually kill bugs that I didn't want to kill. But then the poem in the bigger scheme of the book sort of talks to the duality that's present, the violence and the tenderness, being a girl, becoming a woman, finding pleasure in your body, being ashamed of your body, grief and joy. And so I think this poem really sets up the rest of the book for that exploration of navigating all those different sides of growing up, of being a person, of moving from childhood to adulthood, and the sort of ruptures that are experienced, the violence that is experienced. And I think that the butterfly in this particular poem, the speaker thinks of it as a she, right? And the book also is an exploration of of the sort of violence that we inflict on ourselves, and the ways in which we have to kind of reconcile that and come to terms with that, and then ultimately find a way to be tender with ourselves. The line says, "She requires tenderness, body brittling to dust as I harpoon her under the dark cursive of her epithet." So recognizing and naming that violence, but also understanding that tenderness has to be involved in becoming. So I hope that you liked this poem, and I hope you will give girldom a chance. And thank you for listening.